Hello everybody, it's Mimberly. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I have taken a little break off of recording for a couple of days, because I wasn't feeling too good mentally, and I just wanted to take some time to, get myself back into the groove of getting into the lore of Love and Deepspace. By the time that you guys probably see this, I probably would have gone ahead and read the rest of them by now because I wanted to catch up before carrying on with the main story. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. We're on Mischief now, and from the picture, I think this may be about Luke and Kieran, but let's get straight into it. Oh god, this is a very long first chapter. Chapter 1, Rule Number 1. 2046, early spring. Good evening, listeners. We're talking to you live on Combat Zone FM. I'm your host. The armored truck veers onto a deserted road under the moonlight. The signal fades in and out, and the vehicle's radio crackles. Let's talk about ambushes tonight. Linton, the driver, steps on the gas. The moving truck gradually picks up speed, its cabin swaying and creaking as if on its last legs. He glances at the door leading to the back of the vehicle. The curtain is drawn and obscures the interior. It's quiet and nothing seems amiss. At least that's what he tells himself. His job is just to drive. The cargo back there is under direct supervision of Ever's researchers. It's none of his business. He's been doing this for years without incident. Tonight, however, is different. Maybe it's the pitch black surroundings and the quiet road. Or perhaps it's the violent swaying of the truck and its bone-chilling creaks. Whatever the reason, Linton can't shake off this uneasy feeling. To drown it, he reaches out and turns up the radio. Here's the first rule for a successful ambush: conceal your strengths. Just as the radio host finishes speaking, a young, amused voice resounds next to Linton's ear. Well, he's not wrong. Oh, is this Sylus? I swear to God. Linton's heart nearly stops. He slams on the brakes. The Interna throws him forward, and the person beside him playfully lunges at Linton. A cold, sharp metal blade is pressed against his collar and thus his neck. You want to live? I'll give you 5 minutes. Run. The young man's voice is chillingly playful, reminiscent of a child taunting caged animals at a zoo. It'd be infuriating if Linton weren't paralyzed with fear. He glances back at the door to the cargo area is wide open. A nauseating stench of blood wafts out. Inside, a few motionless researchers are drenched in crimson. They're clearly beyond help. In the center of the compartment, 2 sets of restraints that should have secured a person have been cut open. The escapee now crouches beside him, his blade brandished. Only one thought races through Linton's mind. Run. He stumbles into an alley. It's so dark that not even the moon casts its light here. He crouches beside a large dumpster, his heart pounding so violently that he swears he can hear his nerves screaming. Time's up. I hope you found a good spot. Okay, maybe this isn't Sylus. Maybe this is Luke or Kieran then. Footsteps echo at the alley's entrance and are accompanied by the young man's cheerful laughter. Linton swallows, hugging his knees and willing himself to become inconspicuous like a discarded piece of trash. Through a small gap he peeks out. He sees a slender figure, tall for his age, moving with unnerving, carefree steps as he searches and talks. If it weren't for the shining blade in his hand and the blood staining his clothes, Linton could almost believe this was just some harm-free game of hide-and-seek. The sound of footsteps on pavement fades into the distance. Linton allows himself to breathe and shakily stands up. Something moves in his periphery, but when he turns to look, there's nothing but darkness. It's over, Linton reassures himself. Not quite, the voice chuckles. The laugh is like a cold hand tapping Linton's shoulder. His legs give way and he tumbles as he turns. Terrified, he stares at the figure emerging from the shadows. You? But I heard you... Walk away. The young man grins, seemingly in high spirits. Your ears must not be working. I never left. Impossible. Terror floods Linton's mind. Without thinking, he scrambles to his feet and dashes to an obscured exit. Not so fast. You didn't think it'd be that easy, did you? Another figure suddenly appears and blocks Linton's last escape route. Linton finally understands what's happening. Two individuals with identical faces have him cornered from both sides. I was right, this is Luke and Kieran. They wear the same sly grins and they fiddle with their blades in perfect unison. Allow me to do the introductions. I'm Luke, and the one behind you is my shadow Kieran. We were going to let you off the hook, but someone snitched on us to the guards when we tried to escape last time. That was you, right? Linton breaks into a cold sweat. No, it wasn't. I just... Okay, save your excuses. Kieran, holding a blade, rests his cold hand on Linton's shoulder again, which sends another shiver down his spine. People will say anything when they're begging for their lives. One of the researchers told us how sorry they felt for us. You think we believe that? Luke, do you want to do the honors, or shall I? I'll do it. Any last words? On second thought, don't bother. I'm not really in the mood to listen. Kieran sits cross-legged in the filthy alley, resting his chin on his hands as he watches Luke pin Linton against the wall and press the blade to his throat. In the darkest hours of the night, the splurching blood vanishes. And so the final cry of a life on death's door is swallowed by the darkness. Metrozoic Twin Comparative Test Record, Subject ID 808. Subject names Luke Kieran. Age 16. Oh my god, they were 16? Experimental side effects log. Subjects manually influence each other's visual, pain, and auditory senses. Here are examples of this phenomenon. Number 1. The subject Luke can see images within Kieran's field of vision and vice versa. Number 2. The subjects Luke and Kieran can experience the same level of pain at the same time. Number 3. ... Evaluation results. After the protocore exposure, both subjects show rejection reactions. A transformation occurring within 3 months is highly possible. Comprehensive risk assessment far exceeds standard values. Subjects are to be transferred to the disposal site for termination. So, Luke and Kieran experienced, had some sort of phenomenon happen to them because of the protocore, which means they're basically connected. Phone, shut up. And basically, Ever were like, oh no, we can't deal with this. We're just going to exterminate them. Oh, I'm hating Ever the more I read. Notes: the disposal site is adjacent to the N109 zone. Researchers must complete the firearms request form and collect weapons for self-defense before leaving. Transformation within 3 months. That's a fancy way of saying we won't live past 3 months. Kieran wipes the blood from his face and hands Luke a dirt-smudged document from the ground. After skimming it, Luke shrugs and nonchalantly scratches his chin. It's just a prediction, right? They might be wrong. Didn't someone outlive their estimate before? The younger one of the 303 twins. Phil something? I can't remember. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We finally made it out, and if we only got 3 months left... Luke leans against the armored truck. He raises an eyebrow and then his eyes widen as he looks at Kieran, who pounds his fist on the hood excitedly. What is it? Based on that reaction alone, Kieran knows his brother's mind is probably contorting another scheme to turn the world upside down. Since we're on borrowed time anyway, why don't we go out with a bang? How about doing something epic in these last 3 months? Oh god. These two are chaotic. Eager, Kieran leans in. Despite Luke's ideas always ending up as messes he has to clean up, the prospect of doing something epic still holds an irresistible allure. What do you have in mind? Oh god. Right, that's the thing. Like, Luke and Kieran, I love them as characters anyway, because I think they're just like the right level of comedy that the N109 zone needs, at least on the MC's part. But also the fact that, I think they're good company for Sylus, like when, you know, Mephisto is out spying on MC, you know, that sort of thing. So, and I love Luke and Kieran, I really do. Check this out. Luke points to the name N109 zone in the notes section of the document. Do you remember Sylus? Oh. Oh god. The guy the researchers mentioned before? The protocol smuggler. Yeah, that ruthless boss of Onykinus. Exactly. Excited Luke hops onto the hood of the truck. Let's kill him. Nothing could be more epic than that, right? Oh my god, phone, shut up. Well, I'm just gonna say, you can try to kill Sylus. It's not gonna go, very well for you, though. God damn it. Just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so shouldn't hopefully hear it again. Apologies for that. Kieran bursts into a fit of laughter. What if he's 100 times stronger than us? If we try to kill him, wouldn't that be even more fun? They exclaim in unison. But Kieran quickly suppresses his bubbling excitement. He tries to be sensible. Wouldn't it be easier for Sylus to kill us than for us to kill him? So what? Luke sits cross-legged, the enthusiasm in his voice gradually fading and being replaced with calm. Have you seen the ones who transformed? I'd rather get killed and die early than become something like that. After a long silence, Kieran nods. He crumples up the document and tosses it behind him. True, we shall count ourselves lucky if we get killed by him. You ready? Let's go. In the depths of the night, the two brothers walk side by side down a path that leads a person away from all light. It lazily stretches into the horizon. I hope Sylus turns out to be an interesting guy. Oh, you don't even know that half of it. Oh god, chapter 2 is 12 pages. Jesus Christ. Okay, Mim, reading focus now. Chapter 2, Rumour. Here's the second rule of a successful ambush. Know your enemy. It's been 14 days since Luke and Kieran arrived in the N109 zone. For the past 2 weeks, they've heard all sorts of rumours about Sylus. I heard Sylus has been in cahoots with Wanderers for ages. He's just waiting for the right moment to blow up the M109 zone. Well, they say Sylus has a permanent luxury suite at Salone Hotel. The walls are stuffed with the bodies of his enemies. It's haunted at night. Oh, I heard Sylus is the son of that stock market tycoon from Lincoln City. Really? Someone told me Sylus is a stock market tycoon himself. Kieran doubles over from laughing, but his hands never stop crafting darts. So, did you find out what Sylus actually looks like? They say he doesn't have a fixed appearance. He wears a new face every day. No one has ever seen his real appearance. Oh, I know his real appearance, and, smash. Luke can't help but chuckle at his own words. Before he can finish laughing, Kieran chimes in. Well, I heard he's quite young, but that he has to drink the blood of teenagers every day to maintain his human form. Drinking blood, eh? Laughter fills the small house they've claimed as their temporary home once more. Most buildings in the N109 zone are renovated from previously derelict structures. In the shadows where neon lights from the bustling streets don't reach, it's easy to find a vacant space that's not too depopulated. It's perfect for two unexpected visitors new to this area. But Luke and Kieran aren't the only new faces. Every day, people like them flood into the M109 zone. Lately, their neighbours have been multiplying. Some disappear after a few encounters, never to be seen again. Others schedule a get-together one night and fail to show, only for the twins to learn the next day that they died 2 blocks over. The M109 zone is like a beast lurking in the darkness. Its maw is wide open to devour anyone who stumbles in. Here, death is just a matter of time. The only way to cheat it is to find the master of this savage beast. And his name is Sylus. In their 2 weeks here, amid all these far-fetched rumours, everyone seems to agree only on one thing. Kill him, replace him, or become his subordinate. Last night, someone told me Sylus is celebrating his 80th birthday today. The party is at the ice maker in the room suddenly interrupts Luke's laborious rumour. It's the only appliance in the house that still works. Of course, the ice maker is the only thing that works. Luke waits next to it. He scoops up 2 cubes as they fall and pops them into his mouth. He turns back. You want some ice? Kieran waves his hand. Ice reminds me of when I got beat up. I'll pass. Oh no, the babies! Laughter fills the room as Luke tosses an ice cube at Kieran before plopping onto the couch and crossing his legs. Serves you right. Years ago, during their first escape attempt, Kieran had gotten into a scuffle with the guards and ended up with a mouthful of blood. In 2 weeks in solitary confinement, couldn't break him. He endured the pain in stubborn silence and refused all medical treatment. In the adjacent cell, Luke yelled at him, "Next time you decide to play tough guy before the medical staff, could you maybe ask me beforehand? I'm also in pain." During that time, Luke developed his love for ice. It was initially to numb the pain that wasn't his own, and it later developed into a thrill for the cold. Kieran, after his 2-week confinement, took the lesson to heart. The day his punishment ended, he exacted his revenge with a dart he made. After that, crafting darts became a hobby. It brought him joy. Remember Sherman? He's the guy we met at Elysium. Oh, God. Kieran quickly shakes off the cold and he picks up where he left off. Yeah, the peacocks. How can I forget? Anyone who can strut around the N109 zone like that and still breathe must have some serious support. Luke crunches the ice in his mouth. You think Sylus is behind him? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go find him. He's about to bolt out the door when Kieran, as if he's done this a million times before, grabs his collar and pulls him back. He hands the finished darts into Luke's hand before releasing him. Now we can go. I've been tailing Sherman for a while. Onakainis is about to attend an important business meeting. Sylus might be there. We should check it out. Luke pockets the dart and pushes his slightly overgrown hair to the back. When he opens the door, he notices Kieran tying his hair back into a short ponytail. After thinking for a bit, Luke ties his hair back in the same style. Oh, they're so in sync! Nighttime on the rooftop across from Solemn Hotel. In the luxury suites where the deal is being discussed, the curtains are half drawn. Through the gap, a hand with elegant, pronounced knuckles is visible. It idly taps on the leather armrest. A velvet box is humbly presented to the hand's owner. The individual pauses before leisurely waving his fingers. Someone with a deferential demeanor takes the box away. Although the hanging curtains obscure the faces of everyone in the room, it's not difficult to discern who bears the name Sylus. It's as legendary as it is dangerous based on that interaction. Across the street and perched on the edge of the rooftop, two figures watch them as if it were a movie. Luke, his eyes alight with excitement, points out something. Sylus isn't carrying a weapon. Isn't he afraid of someone making a move? His question is swiftly answered. The deferential attitude fails to save the life of Sylus' business partner. Sylus strikes so fast that even the rooftop audience can't follow his movement. His actions are a blur, but they see a terrified body yanked to the window by an invisible force. A mist swallows it. When it dissipates, nothing remains of the man. Oh, Sylus doesn't need to carry a weapon because he's a weapon himself. No one in the luxurious suite dares to move. The deal's participants and Sylus' underlings bow and lower their heads. Sylus finally stands up, and Luke and Kieran see his face. He looks indifferent, as if the scene before him isn't his doing. The ceiling light casts ominous shadows across his face as he turns. He sweeps his gaze across the street. The two brothers, spectators a few moments ago, suddenly become alert. Their bodies react faster than their minds. They propel themselves off the ledge and into the shadows with lightning-fast speed. Did he see us? I doubt it. We're so far away from him. Is his eyesight that good? An inexplicable feeling sends a chill down their spines. After a moment, they cautiously peek out from the edge of the rooftop. Sylus has already left. Did he look bored to you? Luke breaks the silence. You mean when he dealt with that guy or when he left? Both. Kieran hadn't particularly paid attention to Sylus' demeanor. Knowing Luke would keep an eye on it, he noticed something else. From the moment Sylus entered the room, it was as if an invisible barrier had formed around him. No one dared to cross this unseen line to stand near him. It remained that way until the very end. He had entered alone, and he left alone. Kieran can't help but muse out loud. Is there someone who can get close to Sylus? Well, maybe. After 2 weeks of gathering intel, he had expected Sylus to be surrounded by people. Now it seems they couldn't be further from the truth. No allies dare to stand beside him, and no enemies can stand against him. Just like the expression on his face, everything seems boring to him. No one, Luke and Kieran declare in unison. The thought of Sylus living such a tenacious life for a long time while still having countless years ahead of him stirs a flicker of pity in their hearts. Then again, if they kill him, that's a different story. Oh my god, another long chapter. Okay, right, my throat is starting to get a little dry, so I'm just going to go get a coffee. I will be 2 minutes. Bear with me. Oh, nectar. Right. Let's get into it. Chapter 3, Trick. This is the third rule of a successful ambush. Exploit your advantage when the enemy least expects it. For Luke and Kieran, their advantage lies in the sameness. Identical faces, identical builds, identical movements. They're almost the same person. It's enough to lower their opponent's guard and make them believe there's only one person. This trick has never failed them. From the streets they grew up in to Ever's research facility, it continues to work in the N109 zone, whether it's purchasing necessities from someone who increases prices after glancing at Luke, fending off strangers who try to rob Kieran of their supplies, or slipping past a merchant in a Protocol warehouse. Just like their name suggests, one is always in the light, the other is always in the shadows. One plays the conspicuous target while the other lurks in the dark, ready to strike. The side effects from the experiment have become their strength. When they act together, they're even more coordinated than one person. On Wednesday night, the concert hall in the N109 zone's bustling district will host a grand performance. At Mr. R's invitation, an orchestra was rushed over here after their international tour. For the first time, the hall's pipe organ sheds its dusty protective cover. It's not an important event, but after the hall manager repeatedly refused those willing to pay the extortionate prices for a seat, this performance and the mysterious Mr. R will have become a hot topic in the M109 zone. In a corner unnoticed by all, two inconspicuous insects quietly enter the concert hall. Kieran is looking at two very different scenes. He crouches to hide behind the auditorium seats. Not far away, in the centre of this space, sits Sylus. Kieran can only see Sylus's back. And that's a good sight on its own. The vast concert hall stands empty save for the Sloane figure, and his question resurfaces. Is there someone who can get close to Sylus? Yet Sylus just sits there. He's resting his eyes and waiting for the concert to begin like a normal person would. Kieran knows the concert's start will inevitably be delayed because of the other scene he's looking at. Through Luke's eyes, he sees the dressing room where the inapplicably dressed conductor and orchestra members are bound one by one. Sheet music has been stuffed in their mouths to muffle any cries. After his hard work, Luke dusts himself off and bends down to retrieve a fallen dart. These pack quite a punch. The protocors really do make a difference. He's in awe. The protocor makes the dart feel a bit awkward to hold, but it's tolerable. Luke shakes his head and checks himself in the mirror. Something's missing. He yanks the conductor's jacket off and puts it on. Should I go on stage with this? Their ability to converse effortlessly, even when apart, is perhaps the most useful side effect. It's a little too big. Try that violinist's outfit, the one from the third row. Oh, this is a lot better. Ready? Wait! Luke takes a step forward toward the stage before stopping. He turns back to the dressing room and picks up an ice cube from the wine bucket on the table. He pops it in his mouth and crunches it. Now I'm ready. Just before he goes on stage, he hears Kieran's voice again. Before we do this, any last words? Nope, I have nothing to say. It's pointless anyway. They're still going to die. They might as well save the energy and wear a smile instead. Let's do this. The lights in the hall dim as the performance is scheduled to begin at this time. The curtain slowly rises and a spotlight switches on with a click. Luke is on stage within a few quick strides and stops before Sylus. There's no music, but Sylus doesn't open his eyes. It's as if he anticipated this. Luke's excitement grows. His hand, initially reaching for the dart, changes course on a whim. He grabs two smaller devices hidden at his waist and flings them at Sylus. Mind if I borrow 3 minutes of your time? Let me have a go at killing you before the concert starts. His words echo through the hall. The small projectiles hurled at Sylus are suspended in the soft mist around him. Oh god. The person who stopped them with his power hasn't even lifted a finger. Luke grins. You might want to open your eyes. It could get messy, even for Onakainus' boss man. As soon as he closed his mouth, the spheres, squeezed by the black-red mist, suddenly burst. With a loud splash, water drenches the seats around Sylus. Sylus opens his eyes, his finger on his temple. Luke shrugs. I told you. Oh god, I gotta put my Sylus voice on now. What's your motive? Sylus' nonchalance question echoes through the concert hall. My reason for wanting to kill you, huh? Luke rubs his face and pretends to be deep in thought. In the M109 zone, a lot of people want Sylus dead, for profit, revenge, or because they're weak. He wonders if a spur-of-the-moment decision would pique the curiosity of this man who leads Onikinus. But he decides to drag it out, at least for the show. That way he can buy time for Kieran, who's moving stealthily through the shadows. As their conversation continues, Kieran silently positions himself. Now directly behind Sylus, he holds several darts between his fingers. They're aimed at Sylus's archery. Sorry. Through Luke's eyes, he monitors Sylus's movements and confirms the man's attention is fixed on Luke, who's still fumbling for an answer. He's oblivious to Kieran's presence. Kieran bends his knee and pretends to lunge, and then, before he moves, he hears Sylus Diverse's chuckle. If you want to kill me, at least use a method that's less boring. Yeah, it's very Sylus, isn't it? From a distance, Kieran senses Luke's body go rigid on stage. He quickly realizes why Luke reacted that way. It's because of him. At some point, 2 wisps of black-red mist have enveloped his body. Although they looked easy to shake off, they pinned him in place. He can't move. How did Sylus notice him? Restraining one of them effortlessly subdues the other. The owner of this power closes his eyes once more. The twins are then lifted onto the air and hurled out of the concert hall, one after the other. The hall's doors slam shut, and the lingering echo of a composed mockery of their failed attempt. Huh? The twins scratch their heads before checking their arms, necks, arms, and legs. They stare blankly at the concert hall's opulent chandelier before the reality finally sinks in. Sylus didn't kill us. Still shocked, Kieran sits up reluctantly. That's the first time we've ever been caught. Luke, still sprawled in the position he landed, tugs at Kieran's arm. But did you hear what he said? What? He called us boring! Oh, shit. Okay, Chapter 4, Thrill Seeker. The fighting arena of the N109 zone lurks behind the facade of a 5-story building with neon lights. An oversized ring that suppresses expectations will greet you once you enter. Spectator seats climb up the surrounding walls, and the highest one is perched almost perpendicular to the ring. At first glance, it looks like a fortress or lair of some ferocious beast. Noticing the members of Onikinus frequenting the place lately, Luke and Kieran tear down a recruitment flyer plastered outside and go knock on the door. Get lost. We're not hiring. You're as skinny as a rail. I bet you two would die 100 punches before landing a single punch. The door is slammed shut. The burly arena owner glares at them through a small window before stomping downstairs. Kieran chuckles. A rail? We're scarecrows at least. The next morning, Luke and Kieran are back and knock on the door to the arena. The owner answers, cursing under his breath. He freezes. The arena's fighters, mysteriously missing since dawn, are sprawled on the ground, clutching their stomachs and whimpering. The 2 young men he turned away yesterday grin. So, about your staff shortage. The reason for Onikinus' frequent visits soon become clear. On Wednesday night, the members of Onikinus storm into the arena with one goal: to take this place down. As the 2 groups clash in the arena with their weapons drawn, the leader of Onikinus materializes in the place with the best view. He surveys the chaos below unperturbed. Amidst the mayhem, the twins, already having shed their fighter outfits, move behind him. They exchange glances, and then both get down on one knee. Here's the 4th rule of a successful ambush. Swiftly abandon flawed tactics and use new strategies to confuse your opponent. Boss, we want to be your followers. Noticing Sylus's silence, the 2 continue to speak. We'll be your blades, boss. We'll handle all the dirty work you can't be bothered with. Whether it's assassinations or heists, or pranks or scheming, we'll take care of it, boss. Our loyalty is yours. And approaching footsteps interrupt their unsolicited oath. The tips of Sylus's shoes appear in Luke and Kieran's visions, and intimidation washes over them. Kieran looks at Luke from the corner of his eye. He sees his barely contained excitement in his brother's gaze. What will Sylus do next? Luke is waiting for it. And Kieran realizes his own expression must mirror his twins. From the moment they were born, they were the same. They don't need mirrors. Simply looking at each other is enough to know their own faces. I have no use for trash, Sylus states. A knife clatters to the ground between them. Prove yourselves. They look up and meet Sylus' stern gaze. Below, gunfire erupts and blood splatters. The chaotic battle beckons. In less than half an hour, the gleaming knife is stained a dark red. The twins present it to Sylus. Well, the trash is on the ground now. Do you want us to do anything else? The sounds of combat have turned into barely audible pleas for mercy. In the vast arena, only Sylus, Luke, and Kieran remain standing. The hands holding the knife slightly tremble from excitement, not fear. Fresh blood drips from the blade's tip, their palms, and their nearly identical faces. Oh God. It stains the once clean spectator walkways. The knife's cold glint reflects in Sylus' eyes. He tilts his chin up slightly and smirks. Now use each other's lives to prove yourselves. So that's what he wants. Kieran hears laughter echoing in his mind. Luke is laughing, and he is laughing too. So that's what it was. Sylus is also looking for some fun. They've lost count of how many times they've fought like this. Because of those side effects, their senses are bound. Fighting each other during heated arguments no longer relieves their anger. Instead, it's a form of self-torture. But they soon discovered that fighting could earn them many things. Painkillers, sedatives, and if the fight was severe enough, even a pass on the next day's trials. So despite their reluctance, they became experts at fighting each other. Sylus sits in the spectator seat. He watches the twins fight for the knife with an amused expression. Their faces are fierce, their movements swift and precise. Only when they draw near each other is there a barely perceptible hesitation. A quick exchange of glances as they try to come up with a strategy. Sylus props his chin on his hand. He can sense the brothers' true intentions. These young beasts are putting on a show. They carefully hide their fangs and claws while waiting for the right moment to throw the knife. Little do they know that their target has already grown weary of such tricks. Still, Sylus stays in his seat. The persistence of these weaklings suddenly piqued his curiosity. He wants to see how this will play out. And that's when the unexpected happens. The sharp sound of crystals piercing skin fills the air. The twin holding the knife goes limp, crying out in pain as he collapses. Like snakes, black crystals sprawl up his face from within his body and reach his eyes. In an instant, the other twin, seemingly unharmed, also falls to his knees because of this unbearable agony. Their show falls apart and is replaced by the onset of the transformation. Oh no, they're turning into wanderers. The knife tumbles to the ground and stops at Sylus' feet. He bends down to pick it up. A crystal-covered hand trembles as it desperately reaches for the blade. Sylus smirks and hands it over. The person before him musters all his strength to aim the knife at his heart. He tries to push it in, but he hesitates and freezes as he notices his brother, who's bound to him, curl up in a ball because of their shared agony. These two are like marionettes, tangled in invisible strings. When one transforms, the other feels inexplicable torment. Sylus watches with keen interest. He wonders if this bond will remain unbroken even in the face of death. He knows this question now looms over them like a suffocating nightmare. He stays because he wants to know what they'll do. The knife's tip veers off by a few centimeters. Then the twin slashes the blade upward. The crystals shatter, and blood splatters onto the spectator seats. The twin abandons the thought of ending his life, and instead violently gouges out the crystals. Sylus slowly claps. At least you've got some guts. He lifts the knife again, but is quickly intercepted by the other twin. Although he's unaffected by the transformation, he's forced to endure the pain due to their shared senses. Still, he grips his brother's hand. Don't worry about me. His voice lacks his usual lift and is replaced by a chilling calm. Let me help you. I'll help you. Oh, the weight behind the word help is unmistakable. Its true meaning is unspoken but clearly understood. Okay. Luke and Kieran have never realized how loud a heartbeat could be until now. Perhaps this is the noise a person only hears at life's end. They've come to the same conclusion while the one who didn't transform struggles to control the knife. Beside them, a fiend whispers, "If you do this, you won't survive either." I'll die with him. That's his response to Sylus. He takes a few deep breaths before flashing a sly grin. I don't care anyway. Is that so? A wisp of black-red mist suddenly plunges into his twin's chest. A more intense pain immediately follows, the trembling now mixed with a fear that they've never experienced before. It's the fear of dying. Sylus intends to kill them this time. As if a clunk of their chest is missing, their limbs gradually numb, the cold blood building up in their throats. They shudder uncontrollably. At first, they manage to hide their terror, but as the mist grows sharper and touches their beating hearts, so this is what death feels like. The feeling of being at death's door finally breaks their resolve. Fragmented pleas escape their lips. No, but the agony of their demise intensifies. Sylus's towering figure blurs into a beast toying with its prey. Their internal organs feel violently constricted, their desperate desire to live drowning in pain. Panting, they spit out blood and raise their voices. Stop! I thought you had a death wish. We don't. With a dissurface snort, Sylus opens his palm. The mist dissipates before it claims their lives. The once bright room is plunged into darkness. A strong force surrounds the twins and shatters the growing black crystals. A ringing persists in Luke and Kieran's ears, but the pain vanishes in a heartbeat. In the N109 zone, dying is easy, Sylus says as he leaves, his tone almost teasing. Staying alive? Now that's the real proof of strength. Hot damn. Boss, we're not here to kill you this time. 2 weeks have passed and Luke and Kieran once again stand before Sylus. They've fully recovered. One was never injured in the first place and the other's wounds, a result of gouging out the crystals, have healed. There are only grotesque scars on his face and body. Otherwise, they appear healthy. Oh, is that why they wear the masks? Oh no, the babies! Otherwise, they appear perfectly healthy. We genuinely want to be your followers. Emphasizing this statement, they drop to one knee. Sylus is slightly irritated. Drop the act. After the twins exchange glances, Luke looks up with a sly grin. Actually, we're curious to see if anyone can kill you, boss. Since we couldn't do it, we want to stick around and see if anyone else can. They widen their eyes soon after. If they're not mistaken, Sylus flashed a cold smile tinged with anticipation. It's an expression they've never seen before. But the smile vanishes so quickly that they wonder if they imagined it. After a moment of hesitation, Luke lowers his head again and speaks in a respectful tone. Boss, that Sherman guy is suspicious. We'll keep an eye on him for you. Bowing his head, Kieran adds, we know his address, his usual spots and his contacts. We can report to you every 2 weeks. Go then. These words constitute the only command they receive. Understood, boss. They immediately stand up and they realize Sylus has already vanished. As they exit the base, the streets of the N109 zone remain as sunless as ever. Passing a glass wall, they pause to look at their reflections. It's been years since they used a mirror since they've always used each other. It's an extra perk of being identical twins. But now that's no longer possible. I think twins should still look like twins. Luke pulls out the backpack he's been carrying and fishes out 2 masks. He tosses one to Kieran and puts the other one on himself. I got 303 to make these. Just found out he set up a workshop in the M109 zone. Try it. Kieran examines the mask in his hands and holds it up to his face. It's a perfect fit. He puts it on and playfully taps Luke with the long beak of his mask. Why are we even wearing these in the first place? No reason, but with them we're identical again. It's noon. The 2 young men walk side by side down a path that shuns all light. They stretch lazily. What do you think a smile meant? Can someone actually kill him? I'm guessing it's a no. Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, we know there is one person who can kill Sylus, and that is MC. Hot damn. Okay, that is just giving me so much more respect for Luke and Kieran. Like, the fact that the reason they wear the mask is so they can stay identical. It's not only adorable, but it's genuinely a really smart move in, like, an area like the M109 zone. And I really hope that we get more Luke and Kieran in the story and cards going forward, because I think they've got so much potential as characters. And I really hope we dive more into them as the story continues. But on that note, that was me reading Mischief. That was by far way longer than I had anticipated it was going to be, because the first 3 chapters were long. But I'm going to be honest, I genuinely really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue reading these at a later date. Fingers crossed I can catch up soon. And just keep an eye out. I'll put these out on early access as and when they're done. So that way you guys can go ahead and watch them if you want. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to finish drinking my coffee and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.